Starting Wednesday afternoon, this band worked for approximately 14 hours over the past few days. They've had the opportunity to be guided by the wonderful, and I hope to be a dear friend forever, Dr. Emily Trinan, a master conductor from the University of Minnesota. Her energy and passion and encouragement for the music brought them through the darkest and brightest moments of each rehearsal. She has been magical and purposeful with every decision she's made with this ensemble. It has been a treat to watch them grow and connect over their passion for this music, and I can't wait for you to hear them. We had an amazing historical opportunity yesterday that brought tears to my eyes and many in the room. It was very wonderful to get to be a part of this, and I'm very honored to welcome James Melton to the podium to share about this historical moment with you and kick off the 2025 Missouri All-State Band.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is James Melton, and I represent MSHA, Missouri State High School Activities Association, as the Associate Executive Director. The 2025-26 school year will mark the 100th year of the Missouri State High School Activities Association, formerly, or now not formally, but known as MSHA. Some people say Misha, but that's not the way it's said, MSHA. Almost 100 years ago, Missouri school leaders banded together to build and then agreed upon the rules and regulations and structure governing interscholastic education-based, it's so important to say that, education-based activities and athletics, fully committed to the ideals of competitive fairness and opportunity. Each of us in the office has been tasked with creative ways to recognize this centennial, and in the fall of 2023, just a few months after starting in my new position, I found inspiration by the request of two competing schools to play the national anthem that wanted to play the national anthem together prior to their state championship football game. This had never been asked before. With a little bit of work and some arranging, we agreed and acknowledged that and granted the request. The directors inquired about what arrangement they should play, and not knowing what would best suit the ensembles, because I'm a choir director, I just asked the directors to talk together and find a solution. They did find an arrangement, and it was awesome watching these schools come together and make this happen. Afterwards, while reflecting, the idea was hatched. MSHA would commission its own official arrangement of the national anthem, and this arrangement would be dedicated to its member schools, their directors, and their students to celebrate MSHA's centennial. The composer, who I'd like to acknowledge now, Mr. Dell, would you please stand? Was selected to undertake the effort. Mr. Dell is a Missouri native and is the director of choirs at Fort Zumwalt West High School. In our meetings and collaboration, I asked Mr. Dell to write an arrangement that all member schools could play, one that was fully accessible to small school ensembles, whether band, choir, orchestra, but also expansive for the largest ensembles. And oh, by the way, could you somehow incorporate Missouri musical themes, but it still has to be the national anthem. So in the process of creating this arrangement, where any combination of size and voicing of any choir, band, or orchestra, not one arrangement was written, but 16 different arrangements were painstakingly arranged and engraved for this project. Patrick and I talk about this often. We say Herculean, it might also have been Sisyphean in task. But now this arrangement exists, and it fits any class 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 band, string, full orchestra, with and without DVC, string quartet, SATB choir, with and without DVC, and SAB, SSA, TBB, SA, and TB choirs. And all of them harmonically fit together, no matter their chosen permutation. His unique arrangement contains melodic and harmonic references to the Missouri Waltz and Shenandoah, which references the iconic Missouri River and the lyric Across the Wide Missouri. Mr. Dell delivered on all fronts, and yesterday, the All-State Band, choir, and orchestra, in a historic moment, each recorded this arrangement to not only showcase the talent across this wide Missouri, but these recordings will serve as exemplars for our school directors, and in moments when we don't have an ensemble to perform the national anthem at a MSHA State event, these will be the recordings we use. I am excited for this project to become a reality, and I want to thank the leadership of MMEA, MBA, MCDA, and MOASTA for their commitment and dedication, along with the All-State conductors who gave us so much of their time to rehearse and capture these spectacular recordings, and the kids who worked so hard. Later this year, on July 4th, MSHA will kick off centennial celebrations and will officially release these recordings and all the arrangements in all their parts to all member schools and directors. We can't wait to hear schools across the state perform and use this arrangement. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask if you're able to please stand and rise and join us in honoring our country with the playing of this national anthem under the direction of Dr. Trine.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me? Awesome. Well, I'd like to say a few words before our next piece. First of all, thank you so much for coming. It's amazing to see so many supportive audience members, loved ones, family, friends, guardians, teachers, and everyone else, administration. Thank you for being here. So on this program, there's a wide variety of styles and repertoire, and I hope that there's something for everyone here. The first two pieces, one was written by Kataj Copley. He's a relatively young African-American composer coming to the scene, writing a lot of wonderful, fun, kind of sparkly, exciting pieces on the market and on the scene. And the second one, O Magnum Mysterium, is originally written for choir and is not that old. It sounds like it might be from, the classical period or maybe turn of the century, but it was written in the mid-90s by Morton Lauridsen, and then our wonderful H. Robert Reynolds, who is a mentor and leader to so many of us, created the band adaptation. And it is a gorgeous piece of music, and these students did just a really, really heartfelt, wonderful job with that. So thank you so much, musicians. The next piece we're about to play is in 3 movements, and of course we'd ask that you hold your applause between them. And there's a big surprise on the 3rd movement. I'm not going to reveal that yet, but there's some pyrotechnics that you're about to see. Yes, those of you know what I'm talking about. Written by an American composer living, and his name is Michael Dougherty. Some of you may know that name. He's more probably famous, if you would, in the orchestral realm, but he's written a lot of wonderful, interesting pieces for the wind band and chamber music and small groups. So we really hope you enjoy it. It is called Vulcan, so any Trekkie fans out there, this is directly related to that. We've got Spock on the front cover, and so there are some references. You're going to recognize some tunes in the last movement especially, but Michael likes to fuse kind of iconic American images and people with classical art music. There's a little bit of jazz influence and very popular style. So we really hope you enjoy this next piece, Vulcan. And then after that will be Amanda Aldridge's On Parade March, and this is a piece that kind of came to the scene, re-edited, retranscribed for the modern band by Caitlin Beauvais, who's another young conductor coming on the scene on the West Coast. And Amanda Aldridge is an African-American woman, lesser known around the turn of the century. So we're excited to share that march and get that back into play. So we hope you enjoy the next 2 tunes, Vulcan and On Parade. Well, thank you again. I'd like to extend a couple of personal thanks. First of all, to Brad and his team for the initial invitation to come do this a few years ago. It's always a pleasure for me to have the opportunity to work with young musicians, and I can't tell you just how amazing it is to see their growth. I love working with high school musicians, and every opportunity I can to do that, I always say yes. So Brad, thank you for the invitation. And to Sarah and Julie for being just incredible hosts, have made this trip really fun and warm and funny and interesting. And so, yeah, lots of stories. I will absolutely remember this trip, so thank you. And to the whole administration and chair of Missouri Band Directors Associations and Music Education Association, thank you for entrusting me with your students and giving me this opportunity to be here. I'd like to also give some thanks, I know this was stated earlier, but to all of our educators. Without you, none of this would be possible. And I know you know that, but I think it's good to be reminded of that. And so all the loved ones, parents, guardians, friends in the room, please be sure to thank a teacher. Please be sure to tell your teachers thank you. And vice versa. Teachers, please be sure to tell the loved ones thank you for supporting your students, driving them, buying reeds and bells and this and that. I know, right? All of the things. So thank you all. I know it takes a village and it's a team effort. So thank you all for everything you do to make this possible. This event has just been a real treat. Like I said, I am just so grateful to be here. And I just want to close by saying to the students, thank you for being so fun to work with. I know it takes a couple of rehearsals for us to get used to one another, but it's been just a joy to work with you. I did not give you any easy music, I think, right? You're like, okay. But you worked so hard, and it was just really a treat. And I appreciated your focus and your respect and your musicianship. So thank you for everything. We're going to close with Conga del Fuego Nuevo, and hopefully you'll find it to be a little bit fun and lighthearted. Thank you all so much for coming, and go band.